What is happening, Meta-Sites? So I'm back with a video. Thank you for tuning in to the channel. It's very appreciated. I have to apologize for not being consistent with my videos, as I've had some trouble in the past trying to get to a regiment where I've always faced some resistance on YouTube. There's community guideline strikes happening left and right. I had to restart my channel a few times. If that wasn't the case, I probably would have done much better on YouTube. So I'd like to thank YouTuber IT for giving that generous amount of donations via PayPal. Thank you, IT, for that. It's appreciated. I went out and I had to get some coffee the other day to try to take time and try to relax during this holiday season while everybody else is going home and probably going to seeing their folks. I would recommend people they do that. They take time out to go see their families. I'm probably going to be staying indoors for the duration, maybe of this entire winter. I may have to do a few documentaries. One of the documentaries that I wanted to touch upon, the new movie Strange World, which was LGBTQIA left propaganda animated film by Disney. They pushed that to the kids, and well, that didn't do so well at the box office. Surprise, surprise. The box office, this speaks volumes. I mean, it clearly showed that people, especially families, they didn't want to go see that movie. And yeah, I mean, I have been outspoken lately about that, the LGBTQ movement. Now that they're pushing this in the churches and in the schools. This is all new. I mean, if I grew up in the 1990s, this would be I mean, there would be a serious outrage. There would be parents rioting in the streets. They would never allow for that stuff to happen. Today, there's a lot more tolerance. I was at the post office the other day talking with this lady, and there's an attitude of like nihilism or acceptance that, oh, this is how things are now and we shouldn't judge. So when it comes to that, honestly, that does upset me a lot, because it tells a lot about our society and where things are at. They're taking a back seat to traditions, the tried and true Christian values, which I admire. I don't read all parts of the Bible. I've only understood bits and pieces. After all, I'm nobody special. I'm just a filmmaker. I'm a YouTube creator. I've tried to help the Christian community, I guess, a little bit. But it's pretty sad, though, that I couldn't get help from certain groups of people when I tried to come forward and explain to them how difficult it was as a small-time YouTube creator from Canada to be part of this, I guess you could say, movement, trying to save lives. I mean, it's not a movement. I mean, I had to make a choice at some point. Like, when I first became a YouTuber, I wanted to try to entertain. I wanted to be entertaining and maybe, yeah, share a few videos on issues. And when COVID happened, I mean, I had people come to me before this whole COVID pandemic started. They told me, oh, things are not always going to be as good as they are, and they gave me a heads up on it. These were Christian groups, I guess. We've lost contact. I'd like to think, though, that they've moved on to other platforms, or they're moved on to other things. Maybe they're doing okay. But I have seen and spoken with people who are not doing so well. They don't look like that they're doing too good. Some of them are actually so broke. They're living week to week, paycheck to paycheck, and they're they're living in their cars. Some people are, or they're struggling to make ends meet. I happen to be living in an apartment that's my own for now, but it's the cost of living is pretty high, so which means that I'm struggling a little bit. And as a creator, every time I have to ask for simple donations, that does actually help me out a lot. I won't get into the details, but this past year, I have been visiting the hospital because I wasn't doing too well. I was suffering, I guess, a lot of chest pains, and I had to go through periods where I had to eat basically nothing but rice and a lot of instant noodles. I'm still kind of in that same threshold. Like, I'm constantly in a state of survival mode, I guess you could say that. And me having to try to make these videos and getting censored a lot, it has put me back, I must say. I am disappointed in the Christian community for their lack of understanding, because I don't think that to them it's really their problem. I'm not sure where they're coming from. I mean, I have tried to help out a few people out. I can't give too much. I made a lot of videos, and I have tried to help a few individuals to get their channels going, and I think for them they were really grateful. But I guess some people, they just don't want to take any responsibility when it comes to helping regular guys trying to find good wives out there. And yeah, I mean, it's a long story. I basically trusted people to help me to find a nice girl out there, because the fact that out here where I'm living too, there's a lot of problems that exist. I can't just go out to visit a bar, even if I wanted to. I know that for a fact that it's not a good place to be going out there right now. It's not a good place. There's the issue of feminism, and also hypergamy, and just all these stories I keep seeing on YouTube. They're warning guys out there, good guys who just want to find good women. But the women, they're always on Instagram, they're always on these social media apps, and they think that they're going to be able to find good men there, which that's not really true. So a lot of women, they're essentially going out there and sleeping with any guy out there. I guess they're lonely. They're trying to fill a void, but they're looking in all the wrong places. A lot of women, they don't know any better. A lot of these women haven't actually matured yet, but already I'm seeing like this generation of women completely ruined. There was one or two exceptions. This girl, she happened to be married. I swear though, if she wasn't married, she could have been the one for me. I mean, like, we shared a lot in common. But yeah, it seems like all the good women these days are taken, and this is pretty bad. A lot of guys out there are actually, they don't want to go MGTOW. They don't want to be forced to living by themselves and having to do everything on their own, if that makes sense. A lot of men, they're told that you have to give to yourself. Women these days, they've turned a blind eye to the values and the traditions, which, according to the Christian faith, that's been the key to happy marriage and a happy family. And nowadays, as we're seeing all that stuff going right out the window, we're seeing an increase in divorce. We're seeing an increase in men being forced to living by themselves because they don't want to have to deal with women's like increasing attitudes. I mean, women are becoming more, I'm not going to say, how should I say this without sounding bad. I mean, they have slept around a lot, and they're normalizing that. They're increasing the threshold when women are pushing boundaries that have never been crossed before, and now all of a sudden it's like feminism is looked at as not only accepted but it's also praised, and the strong-willed able-bodied man is put down to the bottom, and now they're hiring people from the east. There's hypergamy, there's all these issues now. Toxic masculinity is a thing. So you can't be too manly and you can't be too feminine. It's like, and there's also this attitude of competition, competing against one another. If you're just a little bit ahead of the curve, people are going to see you as some kind of like threat. I don't know, I can't explain it. YouTube is not, I mean, it used to be a place of creativity. It used to be a real community, and now as I see things happen from 2020 to 2023, I'm seeing a lot more hostility, or people are ghosting. There's this term now, there's cancel culture. I'm not sure. I think that what it is that when you express certain beliefs that are not quite in the mainstream, I think that means that you might be, you might actually be penalized for it. And that as our society kind of shifts more to the left, or this left-right paradigm, I'm not really part of that. I'm not into politics. I didn't want to be. I just wanted to find, by this time, because my family, I know they're not going to be around to always support me, and trying to make, I'd say more than a few hundred videos, that's fair to say. I've lost a lot of work. I think I might have to go get that hard drive pretty soon. It's $300 by the way for a 10 terabyte hard drive, which people are going to argue, well, that's too much. Yeah, it might be, but I think though that it might be a wise investment for long term if I can get my hands on one of those, because so much has happened, and I'm at that point now where I'm having to start to delete important videos, which I ended up regretting because some of them have actually taken me a long time to build.
If you would like to make a charitable donation to help support the Truther community, you can make a difference by donating in the PayPal link in the description box below. A portion will go to aiding charity and producing important video content. Thank you so much. May God bless.
This is the end game of where we're at right now. I'm seeing a lot of people just doing their own thing. They seem to be pretty turned off by everything now. Like, I think though that nobody wants to deal with all these issues that have occurred. Everybody wants to get back to normal. Some people have that illusion in their head that this was it. This was like a terrible dream. This pandemic, it was a nightmare. And they would rather forget about it than have to acknowledge who was responsible and the realities that have far-reaching consequences beyond anything that I can ever foresee, because of how most people today have taken the Kool-Aid, and there have been people like myself that couldn't reach the public in time, and we'll wait and see now in the future what consequences this can have. We'll see.